Welcome back to the Sad Dad Games podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Super Mario 64, how it revolutionized gaming, behind the scenes details, game trivia, speedrun fun, and I'm going to find some damn way to talk about Breaking Bad for no good reason. I'm Shan.
I'm Eric.
I'm Tucker.
I'm Emerlie.
Breaking
Let's
Bad.
do
That
this.
seems out of the blue.
Yeah, out of
interrupting the intro is out of the blue. That's not usually your
Okay,
job.
we already did the intro.
Well, you went right into it. Okay, Breaking Bad.
Yeah, blue sky, like the meth, right? That's one way to shoehorn it in. Like,
you
it's
gotta
out
let
of
them
the,
get there
the blue sky.
Tucker. Yeah,
I
you just-
the crystal blue.
Bad. It's not like you just watched.
It's
Breaking
not
Bad
working.
recently.
But I'll find another way. To shoot. The reason is because
figure it
I'm
out.
watching it.
Oh.
And
I didn't realize
I'm
it was.
really liking it this time again.
yeah,
So
it's a
did you really
fantastic
like it the
show.
first time. This is really good the first time too.
I'm liking it even more this time because I've gained a certain level of media literacy since we've been talking about video games, and I've gained even more insight into like characters and story structure, and I'm like, this show is really good. I need to talk about it for some reason. And this is my only platform for that.
Yeah,
Welcome to the shadow episode about Breaking Bad.
Vince Gilligan is just so talented. I've been
Yes, he
watching
is.
The X-Files for Halloween, and he is a producer on most of the X-Files.
I didn't.
That's
know
where
that.
he came from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
because
came
the
from
new
the
show
X-Files.
that's
He was
coming
born
out,
there.
Burbis, right? Like that show that he's making right now, I think is kind of X-File-esque. And a lot of people are like, oh, he's just returning to his roots. So I think I did
Yeah.
see something about
Yeah.
that.
That's actually where he met Bryan Cranston. Was it on X-Files? I think Bryan Cranston was on it or something.
No, it was that one episode of Seinfeld where Bryan Cranston played the dentist. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
That's definitely it.
But he was a dentist on one episode of Seinfeld. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent episode.
Yeah,
I might be wrong about the
converts to
X-Files
Judaism
thing.
for the jokes in that episode of Seinfeld.
There you go.
Hmm.
Bryan Cranston.
But I do know Bryan Cranston was like, they named the blue Power Ranger after him because he was so important to that.
Wait, the
to
Blue Power
Rangers.
Rangers named Bryan Cranston?
He's named Cranston or something, or Billy Cranston. I think it's Billy Cranston.
Huh.
The lore goes deep.
There's
There you
just so
go.
much to this. It's
There's
not
so many
important.
levels. We don't even need to talk about Mario 64.
There's so
Let's talk
many
about
levels.
Bryan
Just like
Cranston
how
the
Super
whole
Mario
episode.
64 has 15, that has a lot of
There it is.
levels too.
There it is. Here,
Yeah.
before we get too deep into the Mario discussion, I feel like Shan needs to give his best Mario Wahoo.
I can't do it though. Since I
I
got my
said your
tonsils
best
out, I
one.
can't do a falsetto. I can't. Wahoo! I
That's
can't
perfect.
do it.
Yeah.
Who can do the
was
best?
Mario in the room?
Charles Martinet.
No, you
Who
just
can
have to
do
do
it?
a Chris Pratt impersonation. And
Wahoo.
can't do that
it's
either.
a me, a Mario.
Yeah.
It's a me, a
Uh,
Mario. That's
That
just
was so
racism.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
I can't do.
It's just casual racism. That's not a good impression. It's just Shan being racist.
Yeah.
if you can't do it perfect, like inflection perfect, then it is just diminutive racism, right? It's just a character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
it's
somebody
just-
who's been to Italy, I threw out a "It's a me" once, and I just got shunned from the entire country because
Exactly.
so racist.
You have to do it perfectly, or
and I
it's
didn't do
racism.
this. Yeah,
Yeah, and you do everywhere
I
you
forgot
go.
I forgot the hand.
I have one of my favorite It's a Me Mario situations is when you're playing Assassin's Creed 2, you're like, your village is on fire, you're leaving your villa, and then you run into your Uncle Mario, and you're like, who are you? And he goes, you don't remember? It's me, Mario. And I was like, are they allowed to do that? Is that okay? Can you do
They're allowed
that?
to do that.
I don't know if you can
yeah.
do that.
I don't think you're allowed. By the way, the Chair Company. That's another tangent. Episode 2 is out by now. It's Tim Robinson. We're watching it. It's on HBO. The first episode just absolutely crushed it. Second episode starting to establish. It wasn't, the jokes per minute weren't as strong as this first episode, but it's still like this very strong debut of a new show, new comedy with Tim Robinson. Conspiracy comedy. This is what we're missing today. We need more of this.
There you go.
Tim
It's
Robinson
quite
knows
the
what he's
thriller.
Tim Robinson for the live action Mario movie.
All right. So Super Mario 64, it came out in Japan June 23rd, 1996. In the USA, September 29th, 1996. Came out the same day as the Nintendo 64 as the debut title. And the reason you might not remember is because it also came out the same day as Pilot Wings, which is what we all...
just really overshadowed.
It was like Pilot Wings and Wave Race, right?
No, it was just Pilot Wings and Mario 64.
No, are you sure? I'm going to look it up. Are you sure? I think it was 3 titles.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a point of contention because I actually prepared for this episode and nobody else did.
No, I have notes. I just have...
Eric's been preparing his entire
less
life
notes
for this episode.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't really played Mario 64.
Yeah,
I don't really
Very ill prepared.
Can I boot people from this episode?
I've watched you
so
play
it wasn't,
and that's
okay,
enough.
so it does say Star Wars Shadow of the Empire and Turok Dinosaur.
Yeah, in Europe.
As far as first-party games, you're right. Mario 64 and Pilot Wings. But I thought for sure...
Yeah, but those games only released in Europe, and that came out later. So
no, you're right. I thought for sure Wave Race was a launch title, but it must have just come out not long after, but never mind.
Pilot Wings, a much better game than Mario 64. It's a very shitty game, but I haven't played it, honestly. It just looks bad. So Mario 64,
extremely fine. Yeah.
So why was Mario 64 revolutionary? What did it contribute to gaming? It brought analog controls into a 3D space. So it brought like contextual, like the tilt, like so you could push slightly, you could push all the way into your movement. So that contextual awareness, that analog control in a 3D space. It brought dynamic 3D camera system, physics-based movement fill. So it brought that from the 2D space into the 3D space. It has non-linear mission-based sandbox levels. It has a hub world. It has spatial problem solving over execution. It has a forgiving 3D design, which, you know, it did not really have that before this. If you lose at a level, it just boots you out. It doesn't have levels that make you all the way lose. And it did away with the life system, which was very important because coming from the arcade system where they had to punish you so that they could eat your quarters, and then they adopted that into the Game Boy, and that lived throughout the NES and Super Nintendo system. Now they get to this and they're like, you know what? This is very hard to adapt into a 3D world where people don't understand these mechanics yet. So we have to adapt the game mechanics and game design to be more forgiving so that people don't end up hating this. And so they chose to just boot you out of the level and allow you to start over again.
I don't want to be a contrarian for everything you're saying because all of that was extremely correct, except for that Mario 64 does have lives. It would boot you out of a level and you'd lose a life. But then if you lost all of your lives, it just booted you to the outside of Peach's castle and you just had to walk. So it was still pretty light.
You're right.
A little bit further.
I didn't want, you know, in 10 years when this is, if more than 5 people watch this video, comments are like, Shan, there's lives in it. Like, so
I didn't play this week.
Yeah, it needs an algorithm. So who cares?
I was conflating it with Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey does do away with the life system, which, in my opinion, thank goodness. But to all of your points, I think I love how Mario 64 revolutionized all of these ideas. It took a lot of ideas from 2D Mario and 2D games, and then it took a lot of just brand new ideas, things that we had never seen before. And it smashed all of those ideas together and made basically the first, like, 3D platforming collectathon, at least in a scale and scope like this. And I was always completely, like, as a kid, I thought it was so cool and I loved it. And my brain didn't really understand why it clicked so well with me. But as an adult, I can go back and look at, like, all of these gameplay systems feeding into each other. And I'm just so shocked that Nintendo got this game so right on their first try. Because a lot of other series trying to translate to 3D had a lot more growing pains. And I know that Tucker's going to get mad at me for this one, but Sonic had a rough time translating to 3D. Sonic Adventure is a great game, It's a very fun game,
Badmouth Sonic
but it is an objectively bad game.
Everything they did was perfect.
It's a bad game that is so fun to play. Like, it's got a lot of charm, but it's not a
You
good
just
game.
described every Sonic game that ever existed.
Yes, exactly. And so I just love that, like, Super Mario 64, they just came out of the gate swinging. They're like, we've got all these new ideas. We're going to use some old ideas, and we're just going to do it perfectly on the first try. When has that ever happened before? It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, so earlier 3D platformers, there was only a handful. There was Alpha Waves on the Atari ST and Amiga in 1990, often cited as the first 3D platformer. It is very basic, but it's just like jumping on platform, just very, very basic. But it's, I think it was French, and it was very forgettable. Didn't make big splashes. Jumping Flash in 1995. Also very poor experience, and Floating Runner in 1996, so the same year. Third person 3D movement. So a lot of these were releasing around the same year, and so they were all being developed simultaneously in vacuums. And then Crash Bandicoot came out September 9th, 1996. So Mario came out in 1995 in Japan, so it had already been created. And Crash Bandicoot is a 2.5D, so even though it is 3D, it at least restricts one plane of your playing. So
every level is a corridor. It's like everything is a hallway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's 2.5D, and so it's still revolutionary in what it did, but it didn't do what Mario did.
Yeah, I'm going to say something Mario to make all of the Crash fans really mad. I have played the first Crash Bandicoot game, and it's like I think it's a very good game, but just not even anywhere close to Mario. I don't understand the competition back in the day of Crash being like, ditch Mario and come play Crash Bandicoot. It's like, you're not even in the same league, bro. Like, you're a fun game, but come on.
Yeah. So Eric, how did they do it?
So I think that as far as I understand, this is the first like collectathon with their open sandbox worlds, and with, rather than having a lot of like, point A, point B, lots of different levels, they had one big level and they utilized it with several different objectives. And I think that was a smart move from a design perspective as well as a creative perspective, because it let players become really familiar with those worlds. And it had a lot of like multifaceted ways to tackle these things. Like, sometimes you could get stars out of order, and sometimes you had to get stars in order, but it was like there was these big open playgrounds for you to just kind of do whatever you wanted. And I think that the most important thing for me is Mario's moveset and how good it feels to control Mario. And one of the things while I was doing my research is that and this is something that I had heard before, but I wanted to confirm it today before I said it in a recording, but
that's not how I did it. I apparently just said some stupid shit out of.
There's no lives in Mario 64.
I was forced to be corrected in real time.
In real time,
and I'm not going to be edited.
Nope, because who cares? It's fine.
I want you to look like a dum-dum.
Yeah,
dumbest boy in school.
But I love that. When they were designing this game, they took Mario and they put him on an empty grid. And then they tweaked his moveset. They made him just like figured out how he would move and what he would do. They made something like 120 different animations or something for Mario. No, they didn't end up using
250 animations.
250 animations.
And 193 were used.
Yeah. So, which is kind of unheard of, especially for that time. And now we have games that far supersede that, but at the time, unreal. And so this incredible moveset, it feels so good to control Mario, because before they built out any levels, before they did anything, they just put Mario on an empty grid, and they were like, all right, let's make it fun for him to move around on an empty grid, and then we can build levels around that. So I think that having Mario be able to be so fun to control and so fluidly move and have such a good diverse kit rather than just run and jump, it makes these levels more interesting. It makes the game more interesting in general, and it just, nothing like it had really been done before.
They spent a year on this design concept and working on the camera and all of this stuff. And in this test environment, they spend a lot of time on Mips, the rabbit that you end up chasing. And in the real world, in the game, they end up adding some references to Alice in Wonderland, and you have to chase this rabbit, and he's a son of a bitch, and you have to do it twice.
So fast.
He's so fast.
You always just miss him. Yeah.
But so that yellow rabbit that you chase around, that was the testing rabbit that they used to test all these movesets, and they made all of these physics-based movements like stackable, and so it just like the amount of variability and possibilities to his moveset are like infinitely like there's an infinite possibility to it, and there's a level of intuition, like they didn't want to limit what you could do. And so that's why this game to this day is it has a life of itself, and once you like this game came out in 1996. I was 6 years old. I honestly don't remember getting the game. This game just like has always been a part of my life, and so I could pick up the game now and I just have a muscle memory for how Mario feels. And they've always iterated on that core design of how Mario works. And so I always just know how to pick up the next Mario game, and I just know how to do it. And, so this game and Mario Sunshine are like the two hardest Marios to just intuitively understand, but it's just baked inside of me. But yeah, do any of you remember getting this game, or has it always just been a part of you?
Didn't it come with the N64? Didn't they have a bundle? I feel like
I think there was a bundle of it. There was a Donkey Kong 64 bundle, and that's
the one I got.
That was much later.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
I don't remember getting the N64. We just had it as a family.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is like it was so young in my life, I just don't remember. We just had it. I remember getting Ocarina of Time, but that was like 2 years later, so that's when my life began.
Yeah, that was it. That's the first traceable moment in Shan's lifetime was the release date.
Zelda.
Yeah. So I got my N64 a little bit later. I had an NES when I was a kid, and my parents didn't really like having lots of video games around the house for obvious reasons. They
did not stick.
They would be a huge problem for me. Yeah.
So. Well, for us, it would bring the devil into our house. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
So I didn't get an N64 like when I was a kid, but I got my N64 when I think I was like 12 or 13. One of my older brother's friends was selling his Donkey Kong bundle, and we bought that from him. So we had that green N64 that came with Donkey Kong, and then it came with a couple other games, and one of them was Mario 64. So that's the first time I like played it in earnest, but I played it at like friends' houses and stuff like that. I had basically beaten the game well before I owned it. But I do remember that when the game first launched, so I must have been like 6, because 1996. So we had a promotional VHS thing that had like a demo reel of a few N64 games, and we must have got it in the mail or something. And my parents ended up hiding it, or like I think they threw it away, because my brother and I day and night just asked them for an N64, and they didn't want to get one or couldn't afford one or both. But we watched that video, just like is like a 2-minute clip of Mario 64 on repeat over and over again, just completely mind blown that games could be in 3D, and begging our parents for an N64, and they didn't get us one, and I got one like 6 years later. But totally worth it still.
Yeah.
And so so to our point, they spent that first year, so they also, not only did they take a year to develop all these movesets, and the levels came last, so you can see artifacts of this in the level design. So like the lava world, very clearly they did not put a lot of effort into it. It's just a bunch of like random things that they just kind of left there.
It's like, here's a pool of lava, and then here are platforms. Yeah.
The lava world can go kill itself. That is my least favorite place.
We'll get to least favorite places.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I had written down, was favorites and least favorites of some things. So, but it sounds like Shan did that too, so we'll get to it.
Yeah. But also, did you know that this game was being developed simultaneously with Ocarina of Time? So they share a lot of DNA because of that. And so, the teams are working together, And also like the engines, they share the same engine. And so whenever one team was thinking of like, hey, maybe we like this game could have some like they were trying to create some game mechanics for one game and they wouldn't work, they'd throw it over to the other team and they would use those ideas, and back and forth and back and forth. And we end up with two of the greatest games of all time.
How did that happen? Yeah, so because the release date of the N64 was kind of approaching, they took some ideas from Zelda, like Ocarina of Time in particular. They took some ideas from that. So Mario 64 has more puzzle elements than a lot of other 3D Mario games because it borrowed some design ideas from Ocarina of Time that originally were going to be in there. So like that whole sand dungeon area, a lot of that was originally thought for Ocarina of Time. And like Shan said, Ocarina of Time runs on a modified engine, the same engine that Super Mario 64 does. And so they have a lot of kind of like shared DNA, which is interesting. They even have some of the same like assets. There are some textures and things here and there that are the same across both games, which is fun little Easter eggs when you find them. And so it's cool to have two of the most influential, greatest games of all time kind of share a lot of DNA.
Yeah, the camera system, which, camera is one of the most important things that you have to get right for platforming. And it's one of the things that has aged the worst in Mario 64. Picking up like the 3D All-Stars and playing Mario 64, I was maybe the most excited to play that one out of the three. And it was the thing I was most frustrated in, especially in TikTok Clock, because it can just get stuck in the worst possible spots. But they were able to take that and how did they not? They're giving you this perfected package and it's all just emulated, but like, could they not have just like at least taken the engine and just like perfected the camera a little bit? At least
it was the first time they had done that, Shan.
They could have just like let the camera clip through walls, like just like a little bit of effort. Anyway, the point is that then they took that engine and then continued refining it and added Z targeting and stuff for Ocarina of Time. And so, so anyway, that's how. So it's a little bit more refined, but Zelda feels very nice.
Yeah, so little bit of a fun fact about the camera and the design of the N64 controller. So the N64 was obviously in development at the same time as Mario 64 was, and they went through about 100 different prototypes for an N64 controller, and every single one of them was tested against gameplay in Super Mario 64, because they were like, this controller needs to feel good when you're playing this game. And so that was actually one of the reasons why the C buttons were born, were ideated, is because they were like, well, what if we had dedicated buttons for this newfangled camera idea? Because in 2D games, you don't need to control the camera. But in 3D games, you need to have some kind of camera control because you've got that extra dimension. And so that was the thought process. They incorporated those C buttons as a way, dedicated buttons to control the camera. And you see them used in all sorts of different ways in other games. But that was their initial thought process with that. And so I was like, that's pretty cool. Super Mario 64 gave us the C buttons, basically.
This controller was user tested.
Yeah.
I have such a hard time thinking there was 99 other prototypes and we landed on this controller where you need a third hand.
So hang on, let me tell you why I think the N64 controller is genius. Is it super comfortable to hold? Not always. Is it super weird? Absolutely. Is it like a very special brand of Nintendo genius? I think so. Because this was in a transitionary period between 2D and 3D. And lots of other companies were like the PlayStation controller, when it released, no analog sticks, just the D-pad. And so Nintendo was trying to we have kind of standardized controllers now with the 2 thumbsticks, the face buttons, the D-pad and all that stuff. But this was a new thing. They were trying to figure out what does a controller that needs to control things in a 3D space look like? But then they also wanted it to be able to be used for 2-dimensional games because they were still have they have a huge support for those 2D games. Nintendo is famous for their 2D platformers and things like that. So we don't want to completely get rid of that part of our catalog and our skill set and stuff like that. And so they have you hold the side and then with the face buttons and then the middle prong for 3D analog control. And then you grip the other one for 2D control. So it was not a super elegant solution, but it was them okay, we have a normal controller right here, which is the same as what we've done before. But then if you move your hand and you do this middle one, now you have this new kind of analog control idea which was very new and very different. So it was I think it was them trying to like not cut off the past, but also innovate for the future. And it didn't work perfectly, but I think that it was very ahead of its time thinking that they were trying to, innovate in that way.
Here's the thing that sucks. The analog stick, it is impossible to pick up a retro controller that has a working analog stick.
They're all destroyed.
They're all destroyed. I don't think
I
think they survived
think
more than like 6 months.
Mario Party killed
1
all.
and 2 just completely destroyed it.
Where you're holding your controller and you're palming it like this.
Yeah, by the way, I don't think anybody didn't get like at least 10 calluses from Mario
the
Party.
blisters. Yeah.
The
So-
blisters.
Fun fact, Mario Party, after a certain amount of time, they started releasing a glove that you could wear like in the box because so many people did blisters on their palms that they started releasing packaging little gloves in with Mario Party. So like, okay, please don't hurt your hands.
Yeah. So I did get the new Nintendo Switch N64 controller. Feels phenomenal.
It's great.
But I still want to play game, like I don't want the emulated N64 games because it just like emulation doesn't look as good, and I want to play on my actual TV, obviously. So guess what? I actually got this little Bluetooth converter to be able to use
cool.
the Nintendo Switch controller on an actual N64, and the latency
With a
sucks
functioning
little
joystick.
bit, but it does work, and it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Pretty
is
cool.
really cool.
Pretty cool.
There is something extremely nostalgic about using like the appropriate controller for a game,
And having
It's
the actual
about
like button action and actual
Yeah.
have like a working analog stick, that feels nice.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
part
not
of
all
the problem-
gummed up with like soda or something.
Yeah.
One of the problems was that, and I think we've brought this up before, is Shan and I have another brother who is very aggressive with controllers, and
Is
so
he a
all
controller thrower? He seems
Yeah.
like
he
a controller
he
thrower.
throws other people's controllers. He's throwing my controllers.
in your house through
After
across
30
the
minutes.
room.
You come to
30
my
minutes
house
isn't
and
angry
buy
enough.
My controller.
It's impossible to get angry after 30 minutes enough to throw somebody else's controllers, and he does it.
Yeah, and
That's a good way to not get invited over anymore.
he was living with him, so even worse, he couldn't kick him out, at least not yet. But he's also done that with me, where he kept borrowing, I think it was our Xbox, like every other day he was like, I want to borrow it, and then he'd bring it back. I'm like, I didn't even need it back, but he kept like taking it back upstairs, back downstairs, upstairs, downstairs. But eventually we realized that the Xbox controller had a literal like notch broken. So like the plate that's around the joystick, that was chipped. And I don't know how you
How
can
do you do
chip
that?
Right. And it like
The ice pick?
yeah, and you'd be like trying to scroll on Netflix because that's what we use it for, and it would be stuck pushing forward. And so like all growing up, we've had issues like this. So N64, it already is very delicate of a controller, but we also had a brother who like destroyed everything we owned. Still does.
Yeah. So, sensitive topic, but you know how like all these mass shooters happen to play video games, and like one of the greatest
Everybody
cons
plays video games now.
Yeah. So one of the greatest cons that politicians play on their constituency is that there's a mass illiteracy around correlation and causation, and so they just abuse the stupidity of their constituency around that, and so they're just like reverse engineering. It's like, well, they happen to play video games, and so I think what we need to do actually is like one thing, like these mass shooters just happen to play video games. It's the video games aren't causing them to mass shoot, right? But I do think that the people that throw these controllers, I think we need to use that as a red flag, right? Like if that is
Keep an eye on
something
these
that
ones,
they, yeah, like let's put that into the list of like the red flags that we use to take guns from people, so that for like 6 months or so, every time they take a controller, we take the gun for 6 months, and then I think we'd see like the mass shootings go down precipitously. Then they have to petition to get their guns back, and we have solved the problem.
Have to show a pristine controller.
Yeah, I have to go and petition a judge,
Yeah.
and they have to have a witness there to vouch for their character. And I think that we've solved the problem. Like, there is an overlap, but it's just not the video games causing it, but it is like a mental health issue that can be seen visibly by people that are around them.
You have solved gun control. There you go.
I have solved
Shan
gun
did
control. Yeah. So back to Mario 64. I'm just very angry about my brother throwing my. He doesn't even have a gun, but I'm just mad about it.
Yeah, that's
I want to take something. I want to take something from him because he took something from me.
He actually like took my PlayStation. He borrowed the PS4 that Shan gave me years ago, and he borrowed it for a long time. This is besides the Xbox. And then he lost the PS4 controller, and I kept asking for it over and over and over again. I snuck into his room. I looked through like everything. He would dump stuff out in the garage. I went through all his stuff in the garage, and I finally gave up. Shan bought me a new PS4 controller, and then one day my brother walks out of his room and hands me a PS4 controller. He's like, "Oh, so I did have it. I don't know where it was this whole time." But
Also, okay.
Mario needs a gun. Segue back into Mario.
Mario
Wait,
has a
another-
gun in Mario
Another
Rabbids.
detour. Okay, so this brother, like, may or may not allegedly have done drugs at many points in his life, right? So, like,
Oh, y'all are really throwing him under the bus in this episode.
jeez.
you don't know him, but we owned a copy of Earthbound. I'm pretty sure he sold it. And I am mad about this because this game was worth over $400, and I'm a collector, so I have to go out and buy that game again at some point. And that is one that I'm saving for the end because it's very expensive. I want that
Send him a
game.
bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he probably sold it in a fugue state.
He doesn't take care of other people's stuff ever. Ever. But we love him.
Yeah. I had one of my high
I'm
school
on the
friends' older brothers. Yeah, one of my high school friends' older brothers did the same thing. He like went into his room and took his N64 and just like sold all of it. Yeah.
I would never forgive him.
Ugh. Yeah. So Devin, if you're listening, I remember that story. That sucks.
Okay, so back to Mario 64. So
We got
the
our
team
anger
was,
out.
yeah, some of it. So the team was 15 to 20 people. Many worked on the 2D Mario games. So you could say this is the most successful transition from 2D to 3D since Game Freak, who absolutely fell on their face. Complete flop. Okay. Can they not just like hire new people? Like, they are very loyal to their employees, but just like hire a new team.
Game Freak is the Pokemon.
They've had
company, for those of you
decades.
who don't know. Yeah.
And they just released a new game, and it's still ugly. Just hire a new team. There's so much talent out there in the 3D space.
Yeah, it feels like that game would be immediately improved. Just use Unreal Engine, and it's already 10,000 times better looking.
Just hire an actual designer. Like,
I have a big. Even when Pokemon games are really good and interesting, I think Pokemon Legends Arceus is probably the best time I've ever had with a Pokemon game. But it is also one of the ugliest games I've ever played.
Is it really?
And that's hard for me. Like, visual design is important for me and can make a huge difference in how much I enjoy a game. And so the fact that I even tolerated Pokemon Arceus in its state is kind of a miracle. But it was just that good that I ignored how ugly it was. But if they had spent some time and made that game look really nice, it would have like blown my mind. It would have been the coolest thing ever. So
yeah. And so Mario team also experimented with the Star Fox engine. So I think that helped them learn some 3D before they jumped
because
into
the
this.
Star Fox 1 and the unreleased Star Fox 2 used the 3D Super Nintendo chip. I forget what it's called, like the Super FX chip for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. All right. So anything else you want to say about this before we just start getting into like the game itself?
I love it. That's what
Let's
I have
do
to
it.
say.
15 worlds, 7 stars each, 15 castle and bonus stars. What are your worst stars?
100 coin stars. Hands
All
down.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, so particularly the 100 coin star in the Moody Maze Marsh, that one was tough because that whole place is kind of a maze, and the Booze Castle or the Booze Mansion one is another one where it's really hard to get the 100 coins. Those ones are probably like my two hardest stars.
Yeah, and I think most of them it's like barely over 100 coins in the level total. So you have to almost collect everything, including all the blue coins, all the red coins, and it's just tedious. And yeah, those levels where it's easy to, like the lava level, it's easy when you're bad at platforming like me. It's easy to fall off, and then it just becomes infuriating.
Well, and the worst is when you have 98 coins and then you accidentally get a star that you've already gotten previously, or like a different star, and then you're like, no, I have to start all the way over with the 100 coins again. I don't remember where they all were. Yeah.
Okay, so this speaks to my worst level and the worst coins plus the worst level all at once. And I didn't realize this was the worst until I was playing 3D All-Stars, because it's weird what was my worst as a kid versus what was my worst a few years ago playing as an adult. It had really evolved, because it used to be tick-tock clock. And then realizing that level is really just like 3D platforming mastery. And even though before it was like the platforming was tedious, but this time it was the camera was tedious, but I had gotten good enough at the platforming that it was fine. I was just annoyed at the camera, but it was solvable. And so that level was actually just pretty cool. This time I realized that fundamentally flawed down to its very core is Tiny Huge Island. That that level sucks all the way down.
How dare you? I love Tiny Huge Island.
No, it is flawed.
It's probably all nostalgia, but I love Tiny Huge Island.
And just like, so 5 secrets in the shallows and skies while you're trying to get 100 coins, and then like realizing, oh wait, the coin is over there. Let me go back. Let me go back and forth. This is like a DK64 level of like, oh wait, I have to retrace my steps to be able to get I have to go all the way back here to be able to transfer the level to something else in order to get that coin, or to get that other of the 5 secrets, and just doing that back and forth while like the wind is blowing you and trying to force you off the stage. And any given time that might happen, you have to restart all of those challenges all over again. Like that happened to me so many times. It was one of the first times I ever wanted to throw my controller. I was actually infuriated. I think I did that level like 10 or 15 times.
Yeah, I don't remember, because I played 3D All-Stars when it came out as well, which, I mean, it's been about 5 years now, but I don't remember specifically having an issue with a certain level. But now that you're mentioning the going back and forth on Tiny Huge Island, I do remember like having to swap back and forth between the big and small a lot of times. I don't remember being particularly frustrated by it though, because that was one of my favorite levels as a kid, which probably just overrode any frustration that I felt as an adult, because I was like, I'm big and I'm little. Who cares? Like, but I
was
see the
thrilled by
point
it
you're
as a
making.
child, but the back and forth while also losing all progress and starting over is maddening.
Yeah. What about
Any
you guys?
other...
Tucker, Emerlie, least favorite levels?
I already alluded to mine, just the lava one.
Oh, yeah.
I actually don't mind that one. Yeah. Like, what do you hate about it?
So it's because I am not a very proficient platformer. And that one, out of all the worlds, is pretty unforgiving because the lava hurts you. Most other ones is...
What about the green shell,
you can
though?
recover. What?
What about getting the green shell and just cruising through it?
I mean, I never did that, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, now I know.
You can surf around on the green shell. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, so, and
like
there's parts of
water.
there's parts of like, of that lava level where you don't have any invincibility frames. Like a lot of times in more modern games, you get hit and then you got like a second or two before you can take any more damage. Mario 64, that doesn't happen. So if you hit the lava and then you get stuck under something, it's like, you just bounce back and forth and then all your health is gone like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that one was really hard for me just as a kid. Like that was just so frustrating.
Yep.
But yeah, every other one, it's like, yeah, the back and forth was tedious. Like I do remember that, but again, as a kid, it was, my tolerance for that was a lot higher than it is now. Because yeah, playing more modern games, you get pretty spoiled with really buttoned up mechanics and level design. Where yeah, in '96 that was a non-issue.
Yeah, they were still figuring some things out. I feel like they got most, like pretty much everything right, but there's a couple of little, blemishes here and there when you're looking at it from a modern perspective.
So I don't know really any level. Like I watched many hours of my siblings playing Mario World. I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart World.
All right, boot Emerlie off.
Yeah,
That's it. You failed.
Dead weight.
There. I'm just the star power here, But yeah, no, I only really watched other people play it, and so like I'm very familiar with the music, but all the levels kind of blend together in my head. I know there's a penguin level and it's fun to watch. I tried to play, so like when I was really young and this game was being played a lot, first of all, it was hard to find time to play on the N64 because being the youngest of 5 and I was way too young, like all my siblings would hog the N64. And so I'd play in my Game Boy Pocket and watch them play. And then eventually when I got older, one day I was just like, oh, I think I'm old enough to play games now. And so at one time I tried to pick up Mario 64. I maybe got 2 levels in. I actually didn't enjoy it at all.
No.
I like Paper Mario. I didn't get very far there, but I like Paper Mario because it has a lot of
Paper
fun.
Mario is a great time. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
And I've tried Odyssey. Like I probably got like 20 minutes in, and I was like, this isn't for me. So I just don't think I like. But I really enjoyed watching Shan play Mario Sunshine, and I think I want to. I think about it all the time. I'm like, I'd really love to find a copy of Mario Sunshine.
I don't know.
But I have it's so tough.
Yeah.
If you didn't like
fun,
Mario
though.
64 or Mario Odyssey, I don't think you're going to like Sunshine. I mean, Sunshine is it's one of my favorite Mario games, but if you didn't like those, I don't know if you're going to like Sunshine.
I think it's like partly the mechanics. It's something that kills a game for me faster than almost anything else. And I actually don't like how I feel like he's hard to control. And then you like jump onto something and he kind of slides a little bit. Like that killed it for me so
Physics-based platforming. Yeah, so both Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, you have to have just an embedded muscle memory for it. And I think getting into it now, it would just take training that is hard to do retroactively with old gameplay mechanics and old controller design. So maybe this is kind of gatekept by our generation.
Yeah, maybe. Because I don't have any point of reference for what it would be like to play for the first time as an adult because I played it as a kid. But I mean, Mario Odyssey, you not liking Mario Odyssey kind of surprises me because Mario Odyssey freaking rules. Like
it just rules.
It's just an awesome game. Like I can't really think of a single thing wrong with it. I mean, that's not true. There's a couple little things, but
I mean the plethora of like easy moons that just kind of fill it up. That's kind of annoying, but other than that, it's amazing.
I would say like I tried to pick up Mario Odyssey a couple years ago when I first started coming back into video games and allowing myself the time to do it because I just became so obsessed with my business. So maybe it's just one of those games I didn't allow myself enough time to get into it. And then I got easily distracted. But now like I spend a lot of times on games. So
give it an honest go. Mario Odyssey is the best. Okay. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to rattle through the levels. If you feel like shouting out anything about it, just jump in, right? So course 1, Bob-omb Battlefield. It's a 3D movement tutorial level.
Yeah, favorite soundtrack hits me in the nostalgic bone every single time.
Any challenge in this one that you like specifically?
I mean, I think it's the first star where you go to the top of the hill and you fight the big bomb.
Mr. Mustache.
That mustache, it's cartoonish, it's devilish, it's amazing.
Well, I
The
love how he
introduction to
comments on
cannons.
your mustache and how it's not good enough.
Yeah.
He's like, you've got a puny mustache.
All right, course 2, Womp's Fortress. This is all about wall kicks and getting you into some vertical thinking. It's a little bit lazier of a level, which is when they became constrained for time. This level suffered a little bit because of it, but that's okay. It's still a great level. What do you like about this one?
I do remember, so the star blast away the wall. I was like, I remember like being not
It's a
really knowing what
challenge,
to do. And it was a genuine one of those schoolyard moments where they're like, oh, you take the cannon and you aim at the corner of this wall and then you hit it with more, and then it explodes and there's a star. And I was like, what? Like, but I was just so like, I thought that was so cool and so hidden. But then if you look at it, it's like, there is like a little bit of texture difference like on that part of the wall. So if you've got a sharp eye, there is something weird pointing there to be like, maybe this looks different, or like, and I mean, on a CRT TV, it probably was extremely subtle to notice those differences. But I think that was something made by Nintendo to be like, this is one of those schoolyard moments where someone's going to accidentally do it and then tell all his friends. And yeah.
Yeah, Eric mentioned cannons. Probably my favorite thing throughout this entire game is just the use of cannons and the puzzle solving part of using cannons, which was really fun, of just how to traverse and aiming. And it's not just, I mean, going to Donkey Kong, it's like, oh, and barrel. And it's not a whole lot of aiming, but this one you had to like, you really had to take the physics into mind. It's like, I think Bomb on Field has one where where you have to like arc yourself through a bunch of rings. Just understanding the physics of that. Just one of my favorite things in this entire game is just the cannons.
Well, what in the world is better than putting on a wing cap and then launching out of a cannon and then flying around? That's probably the coolest thing that I had ever done in a game up to that point. Like, just good stuff.
Yeah, but the physics of the cannon is always just a little bit wonky, and it's hard to get back into that after you haven't played for a while. But yeah, as for like blasting away the wall, this is like the last generation where like you're saying that the texture is noticeable, but it feels like it was the last time where the texture was almost not discernible, such that you almost kind of had to brute force Easter eggs and just have like an embedded memory for memorizing where all of the Easter eggs were in a game. And I feel like that's a charming era of video games that's lost now.
Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know if the texture is different. That might have just been something I thought.
Personally, I don't think it is.
No, I think you're probably, because as you were saying that, I was like, maybe I made that up, but maybe that's like a Mandela effect that was just in my brain or something. But
yeah, I don't think it's different.
I don't know. I think it's pretty well hidden. I think you're right. You kind of just got to brute force that puzzle or hear it from someone else.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Course 3, Jolly Roger Bay. This is where you learn how to swim. So,
and where you get to watch Mario asphyxiate if you don't get a coin fast enough. That was genuinely pretty upsetting.
I was really bad at swimming, so this was probably one of my lower on my favorites of levels because I suffocated way too many
I don't love stamina, and I think this might be like the first time I was introduced to stamina as a mechanic in any game.
Yeah. Well, I did like to cheese it where, because it was your stamina meter was the same as your health meter. So if you had low health, you could just jump into the water and then float up to the top. And then it was like you refilled your air and it filled up all your health because your air and your health were the same thing. So I did that a lot. But I also, to Tucker's point, I kind of struggled with this level when I was a little younger. The swimming wasn't quite as intuitive for me, but I absolutely love the music here for both of the water levels. I think Dire Doc's music is chef's kiss. So good. Chef's kiss. I did it again.
Yeah.
Your favorite thing.
Yeah. Course 4, Cool Mountain. So this is where we get into ice and snow mechanics.
And penguin side.
And penguins. All right. So penguins.
Yes.
Obviously there's nobody that's going to be happy about this. Right. So we all want to kill the penguin after we've raced the penguin, obviously.
Penguin Race is one of my favorites. It is deeply nostalgic, and he gets so
You love
mad
to
when you
hate
take the
it,
little
right?
shortcut, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
after you learn about
yeah.
that.
Well, and I love if you take if you're going for the star and you take the shortcut, then the penguin gets mad at you and he's like, "Nope, you cheated." And you're like, "But then what is it there for?" Like,
Exactly. And as a kid, the end of that race is so hard. The narrow and the ice mechanics got so tough to navigate while this giant penguin is pushing you off the edge.
But I'm all about the other cheat where you just like fall off the edge and try to aim directly.
try to land on like the lower part.
It's
That's what I
Rainbow
do.
Road. You jump
I was
off
gonna
the
say
edge.
Rainbow Road. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do it just right, you can get way ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you try to murder its babies after that because it pissed you off too much. But yeah, like
penguins.
the rubber banding mechanics between this and Mario 64 were just so aggressive back in that time because they had to be so primitive. All right, course 5, Big Boo's Hunt. Indoor spatial navigation. That's kind of where they challenged you on that. Anything?
I was real bad at this level as a kid. Real bad. Because I have trouble with indoor spatial whatever as an adult in real life. So I trying to get me to do it in a video game as a child, I was lost basically the entire time.
I really love the puzzles of this level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Eric. I had such a hard time as a kid navigating it, and then modern games just forced me into understanding indoor areas and being able to mentally track where I'm at. But I was so bad as a kid.
I think same to both of your points. As a kid, super hard, but as an adult, really enjoyed this level. I think it's got, and also fun fact, the Boo's Mansion, or I forget the name of the level, Boo's Big Haunt, is the only level in this game with its own theme music that isn't reused in any other level. All the other levels share songs with other levels, but not this one. It has its own song.
Course 6, Hazy Maze Cave. So you get another labyrinth, but you get the metal cap mechanics in underwater, and you get the Nessie, which is just random, but they just threw it in because they thought it was funny.
It's just a straight up sea monster. It's another one. Same thing. Really bad at as a kid. Really enjoyed it as an adult.
Okay, Course 7, Lethal Lava Land. So we've already been over this one. Shifting Sandland, Course 8. So... yeah, the quicksand, just another physics type thing to throw in there as a hazardous terrain. I hate the birds.
Games like this made me feel like quicksand was going to be a way bigger issue than it actually turned out to be. Thought that was going to be something you encounter a lot as an adult.
Was that something that, like, as kids, we were all really like... You just think about, like, well, what would I do if I encountered quicksand? And then we're all adults, and it's like, we are never going to encounter... Why was that in all of our brains? Is that, like, a phenomenon that's universal to our age group?
At some point. Yeah. Like, it's
Beware
kind
of quicksand.
Roll, but
exactly.
Yeah,
it's part of the DARE program.
You're supposed to spread out and, like, try to, like, swim back.
That's right, they did teach it. It was school. They taught us at school.
Instincts that I'm never going to use.
I just watched ice. Yeah, I just watched a video on Reddit like a couple weeks ago on somebody showing how to get out of it, and she just kind of like wiggled one leg at a time. It was really weird how to do it, but it's cool.
That is deeply upsetting. Well, there's a lot of movies and shows and games where quicksand is an issue. I'm trying to think of examples. Like, what's that one where the horse like sinks into the tar pit?
Oh, the Never-Ending Story, Atreyu. Yeah.
See, a lot of like traumatizing things where you're like, oh boy, well,
Princess Bride in the fire swamps.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. This game, like you got to know how to get out of quicksand.
It's a problem. You're gonna encounter it a lot.
But in Shifting Sandland, this is where they start taking your hat. This and the monkey, it's like that really pissed me off. I was not fine with that being an in-game thing. Like that always bothered me. I felt incomplete, and I couldn't just let it slide.
Yeah, I always thought it was funny in the monkey level when he got your hat, because the monkey with the hat was funny to me. But the birds, it really pissed me off when they did it, and I don't know what the difference was. Birds pissed me off. Monkey, it was funny. Like
Okay. Course 9, Dire Docks. Yeah, I don't know maybe what was specifically unique about this one, because it's just swimming again. Maybe you get to coordinate your swimming more with like the rings, but
yeah, just
you get a release Bowser sub. Yeah. Okay. Course 10, Snowman's Land. So another ice level. So with some verticality to it. So maybe nothing super specific there, but that snowman blowing you off and having to start over again. It's a challenge that I both hate and I respect at the same time. So this one didn't make me angry, even if I hated it at the same time.
You're the worst, and I respect it. Yeah.
I don't know why I always like that snowman regardless.
Yeah, I like this one significantly less than Cool Mountain out of the 2 snow levels. Yeah.
Okay. Course 11, Wet Dry World.
This one's super cool. I love how this one had like a level inside of a level. I remember feeling like, because when you launch up, you have kind of that, you're raising and lowering the water levels, and then in one of the stars you have to like launch up over the thing, and then you swim down, and then you're in this whole, like, there's this little tiny sunken city area, and it's like this hidden secret level inside of a level. That was super cool as a kid.
Level-based puzzles. So many puzzles in this section, and just like those platform flipping monsters.
Oh, the guys that would throw you up, and yeah. Those SOBs. Course 12, Tall Mountain. So with all the mushrooms. So just 10 minutes of running up a mountain without being forced off of it, and the monkeys. So I always really liked Tall Mountain, even though it's kind
of
like
this one.
A lot of the stars are just getting back up to the top of the mountain again. I don't really know.
It's an endurance run.
It is it's a little endurance. It's a little repetitive, but I always really liked it. Can't exactly put my finger on it. I think the atmosphere and the music, and there's monkeys in it. It's just a fun level. And the Monty Moles. You know what? I figured it out. I love Monty Moles. I think they're adorable and fat and stupid. And I have a Monty Mole toy right over there. That's the reason. I love Monty Moles. I think that's it.
It's not like it's brutal, right? Like, it's forgiving in a way. So it's just like, I don't know. It's not something to hate. It's just something to just kind of have fun with. Yeah. Course 13, Tiny Huge Island. So this, I just hate the relentless back and forth if you happen to go the wrong direction. That's what I hate.
Yeah, this one always reminded me of the what was the World 7, I think, in Super Mario 3 for the NES, where there's like everything is really big. It reminded me a lot of that.
Okay. Course 14, TikTok Clock. So this is platforming mastery.
Classic. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then there's the secrets to speed up, slow down. So just very clever. I don't remember how I learned that because I think you're just supposed to learn it accidentally or through the schoolyard.
Yeah, it's 100% schoolyard situation for me. Like I said, playing this as a kid, I didn't own it. And so I would go over to my friends' houses and stuff. And so they had likely already played a lot of it. And so when I was playing, they would just kind of tell me like, oh, if you jump in at this time, everything's frozen, or in this time, everything's really slow, so.
Yeah, I don't think kids understand these days like how special the schoolyard information and community around video games really was too. Like, you
spent recess with a notepad, right? I remember like doing the trading quest thing to get the big Goron sword in Ocarina of Time, and I like had one of my friends who had beaten it before, and it was my first time playing, and he was telling me what to do, and I was writing it down in a notebook, like, you do this, and then you do this, and then I folded it up, and I took it home and I typed it out, and I printed it out, and then I folded it up and I put it in my game case so that I'd always have it, like.
I think
I
we
was like,
talked
I'm gonna
about
need this in the future.
Shan and I would use like cheatccc.com.
Yeah.
And we used to
it's
go
just
to the
CheatCC.
I thought it was CCC. Oh, whatever. Cheatcc.com.
Cheat Code Central? Oh, yeah. Got myself some cheatcc.com. That was...
Yeah.
But Shan and I would go to the library all the time, like every single day waiting to be picked up, and he burned through all their paper.
They created a rule because of me, because I had printed over 500 plus pages, like in a week, right? For Pokemon, for like all these video games, like I had fat stacks of entire walkthroughs of all of these games. And so they started putting on disclaimers like, hey, you can only print like 5 pages at a time and you have to ask us.
Yeah, back when you didn't have the internet at home, so you had to print it at the library.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you believe they used to just let you do things for free? Like, then people like me came around. They realized
ruined
that
it for us.
Ruined it for everybody.
then they
Shan
realized that there were
ruined
monsters
printing.
like me out there. They could just give ink and paper away for free.
Shan had to do this because he didn't have friends to go and talk to figure this out. So he had to go to.
Well, then I found out that they were liars because they were telling me that Peekaboo existed and Mew was under a truck.
Okay, Peekaboo, I think it was like Marilyn Manson removing his own ribs so he could give himself a blowjob. It just was one of those universal rumors that
It's something that everyone heard.
Yeah.
You are unlocking some memories right now.
Yeah, exactly. Kids on the schoolyard were a bunch of little shits.
Yeah.
They,
Lying about everything.
they didn't confirm anything before they just spread it.
And then I remember getting my Pokemon cards stolen, or like older kids convincing me to trade really good cards for the really shitty cards.
I was that older kid.
But then the cards got banned. Like, we were back in the day when Pokemon cards were welcome at school, and they had to ban it because too many things were getting stolen. It was causing a lot of fights too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Rainbow Ride, the final course. So this is the final exam. They just bring everything together, challenges everything. I love this level. It's an eclectic mess of just everything thrown at you. It's the kitchen sink of platforming.
Yeah,
I
it just
love this
kind of
level.
felt like a hodgepodge. It's like, here's all the ideas and here's all of them together.
Yeah, it's a sandbox of like where they were just experimenting and they're like, you know what, let's make it a level.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it. But I can see getting 100 coins being frustrating. And yeah, I don't mind it because it feels like a challenge.
Yeah, it's just a fun level.
I hate it in other levels. I don't mind it in this level. All right. Anything else to say about the levels or about Bowser? So long,
Bowser fights?
Bowser.
Yeah, so long, Gay Bowser. Have we not talked about that yet? And I think they changed that in subsequent releases. If you I think in the Super Mario 3D All Stars, he doesn't say that. I think he just says, "So long, Bowser." There's like a weird clipped pause in the middle, or he might say something completely different. But I feel like I remember them changing it for that re-release.
He could just say a more distinct King Bowser, which is what he is actually saying.
This was a weird schoolyard moment for me. I could never figure out how to beat Bowser. I didn't realize you had to grab him by the tail. And so that was...
And he just lets you do it.
And he just lets you grab
When you're Mario, he
by the
lets you
tail.
do it.
Yeah.
Well, you're like, where's the pulsating red? Where's the pulsating eyeball that I'm supposed to whack a bunch of times? Like, you're like, where is
Or
that?
jump
How am I
on,
supposed to
or,
fight him?
What is that supposed to be? So
Yeah.
that one took me... Bowser took a while for me to learn how to do.
Well, they have you do it with the King Bob-omb first to kind of get you in that headspace, but I get that.
Yeah,
I had a really hard time.
Little kid brain did not make that connection.
Yeah, I had a hard time with Bowser the first few times because I didn't know you were supposed to throw him at the explodey things. I kept throwing him off the edge, and I was like, why does he just keep coming back?
If I fall off the edge,
if I fall off the edge, I die.
I die. Yeah.
Yeah, I got frustrated with Bowser. Like timing, like the last bomb was always really frustrating with me.
Because it's like for the third Bowser, the last level, the level is like cut into the shape of a star, and so you can't get him like right up to the edge and throw him like right at the bomb thing. You have to aim more than you had. So yeah, the last Bowser fight can be a little tricky to kind of finagle, but super fun.
Yeah. How many? Okay, so of all the games that I've 100%ed, this one and Banjo-Kazooie I've 100%ed the most. I've only 100%ed like 5 games in my life, but between this and Banjo-Kazooie, I've done like 5 times each. Because it's not even like I care about getting to Yoshi on the top of the castle. It's the perfect amount of requirements to hit 100% in each. And like each challenge is just challenging enough. Like nothing is too hard or too little to be wasted. Like it's a perfect bite-sized game to do it all.
Yeah, I think that 3D like platforming collectathons are probably, if it's well done, are probably my favorite genre to 100%. Every single time I play Mario 64, I 100% it. If I'm going to sit down and play through the game, I have to 100% it because for the same reasons as Shan, not because I want to like I 100%ed it again, but because it's fun to do. It's just the right way to play the game. I like all of the challenges. It's just a fun way to play the game.
Yeah, it's like, or it's like, I like 95% of the challenges, and the ones that I hate, it's like, well, it's like, it's not like I'm going to do 110 stars. Like,
like an idiot.
I'm not a pussy. So, yeah. And, okay. So, anything else to share before I move on to the speedrunning section?
So I actually don't know like how you get to the end of the game. I don't remember how that works. So what is the purpose of all these different levels? You're collecting the stars. Is that unlocking a door so you can get to Bowser? Or are you saving Princess Peach? Like, isn't it her castle? I don't remember like the little details.
Emerlie, you ignorant slut. So you're getting stars to unlock doors to get to paintings so that you can progress through the castle to get to Bowser to save Princess Peach, the damsel in distress.
Also, yeah, the door unlocking mechanic I thought was super cool as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it gave you some freedom to like which level you wanted to do next, which was also kind of a very new thing at the time to be like, oh, I don't have to do level 2 after I can go straight to level 3 if I want to. So that was pretty kind of mind-blowing as a kid to be like, oh, I can just go wherever I want.
Oh, I can just run.
I can just run.
Yeah.
I just
And
start
you can-
running.
And you like it puts a minimum threshold on the amount of challenges you have to do, but it lets you skip what you don't want to do. It's a level of freedom never before allowed in a Mario game. Like in previous Mario games, you could sometimes skip some levels, but you had to fundamentally do almost all of them.
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
so
think
as
that
a
if
kid
you...
and as a go ahead, Eric.
I was just going to say, I think you only need like 60 stars, maybe? Or is it
70
stars to get to Bowser? So it's like there are whole levels that you could just not do if you want to just 100% like most of the levels. It's like it's just barely over half of the total number of stars. So you can skip out several levels if you don't feel like doing them at all and still get to the end of the game.
Yeah, that's what I ended up doing because there are some things I just had such a hard time with and just said, screw it, I'm going to go to another painting and knock out some more stars there.
I'm going to go back to Bob on Battlefield where they appreciate
exactly.
me.
Yeah. No, so like as a poor platformer, I loved that as a kid to where I never felt like I was stuck in the game. I always felt like I could, progress somewhere else if I was really struggling with something.
It's like an early example of accessibility options, letting people, access the content that they want to without gating the ending for them.
Mm-hmm. All right, Super Mario 64 speedrunning. It is the most competitive speed game of all time, which I'm pretty sure we all knew that. Is just endlessly competitive because of all of the variability in the stackability of his physics-based platforming. So the amount of variability in how people can approach breaking the physics of the game to be able to approach it differently to get to the ending as fast as possible has made it endlessly entertaining and has allowed new game breaks to be found like every single year for decades. And so there are just so many different categories always being explored. It has over 50,000 submitted runs from over 8,000 different players. And it's been going for 30 years almost, because next year is the 30th.
Dang. That's crazy.
What's the record right now?
Well, I don't. Okay, so there are so many different categories. So let's get into this one. So the Suigi phenomenon. So one person, 5 world records. So there's 0 star, 1 star, 16 star, 70 star, and 120 star. All these categories, one person holds all 5 of them, and he got it in November 2024. This is insane. Each category requires different skills and different strategies. 70 star and 120 star require endurance and nerves management over 45 minutes of precision. 0 star and 1 star are pure speed and technical execution under 7 minutes. Most speedrunners
so 120. So back to 120 stars in what, like 40 minutes? He beat the game with 100% in 40 minutes.
So yes, 70
Oh my
star and
gosh,
120
that's
star over
crazy.
45 minutes of precision.
That's bonkers. Sorry, continue. That just blew my
Yeah,
mind.
so different types of skills for each category: endurance versus precision, and he did all 5 of these. So most speedrunners excel at one category. He did all 5. So this guy is a phenomenon. The most famous glitch out of all is the backwards long jump. So have any of you watched, other than
Yeah.
Eric?
I love
Okay.
watching speedruns.
Not Eric doesn't count. Of course, he's watched it. Yeah.
Of course, Eric's watched everything, right? So you know about the backwards long jump, the most
Yes, I
famous
actually
glitch of
do.
all?
I've watched a lot of speedruns of this game and a lot of Zelda games too.
All right, the backwards long jump exploits Mario's lack of backwards speed limit, allowing him to reach speeds of 100,000 plus units. The normal max is 40. How it was discovered: first documented in Club Nintendo magazine, the Mexico Latin America magazine in November 2000, sent in by Jose Angel Ruiz Villarreal and Dante Ivan Ruiz from Mexico. First appeared in the English internet when Jira 2000 posted it to GameFAQs in March 16, 2003. What it does is it lets you bypass the endless stairs that require 70 stars. The warp hitbox doesn't register at hyperspeed. So what a hitbox does is it's a collision detection, and so it runs a calculation at every frame. And if you're going fast enough, you can register on one side during a frame and then be on the other side during the calculation of the other frame. And so if you can go max 40 when you're going forward, but there's no upper limit when you're going backwards, and you're doing an infinite backwards long jump when you're going against the stairs, and you stack up those units to go above 40, and the frames per second is, I don't know, like 60 or something, and you stack up your units to be above that calculation, then you clip through the wall between those frames, and then you jump up, you go past those stairs, and you can go past the endless stairs and get to Bowser and do a boundary break. That's essentially what this is doing.
Yeah, people also use it to like phase through walls and clip through areas early. So it's like they're jumping backwards through the castle and like clipping through walls, and then they get up to the end of the stairs, and it's like all they're really doing is they're just backwards long jumping through the whole level. That just rockets them backwards straight to the final level, basically.
Yeah. And so the backwards long jump also created other speedrun categories of the 0-star, 1-star, and 16-star. It made it possible to beat the game in under 6 minutes.
Crazy.
All right, so who here has watched? But first, we need to talk about parallel universes. You haven't seen this YouTube video?
No.
I saw this years ago. This is a spectacular YouTube video. In January 2016, Penn and Coek 2012 uploaded a video explaining how to collect a star with 0.5 A presses, so a half A press. Now, this is such bullshit that it immediately caught people's attention, plus the concept of parallel universes in Super Mario 64. The catch, though, is that it takes 14.8 hours to do it. So what are parallel universes? Parallel universes, or PUs as he calls them, are areas far beyond the map boundaries where phantom collisions exist due to integer overflow in collision detection. They occur every 65,536 units in a grid pattern. The absurdity: to reach the star, Mario had to build speed for 12 hours to travel through quadruple parallel universes, or KPUs. In 2023, a new glitch was discovered that cut the time from 14.8 hours to just 6 minutes. The video went viral for its obtuse technical content and deadpan narration. And it spawned memes about TJ Henry Yoshi, who commented, an A press is just an A press. You can't say it's only a half. And the concept is like entering a level with the A button already pressed, and that counts as a half A press, and that registered differently and allowed you to perform. It allowed you to do different things with Mario because of that. Because it
So
registered
is this true or is this a hoax? It sounds
This
like
is 100% true. It allowed you to collect a star differently because of the half A press, and he goes into all of the mathiness and behind the game engine required to accomplish it, and it is so funny because of how he narrates it. You absolutely need to
I
watch
need you to
it.
send. Can we put a link to that? I feel like I need you to send me that video. I'll watch that. That sounds amazing. It sounds like
It is
exactly
absolutely.
my kind of thing.
This also spawns the A button challenge. So, well, I guess it didn't spawn it. The A button challenge already existed. And maybe it spawned his video. So in August 2013, over 200 A presses were required to complete Mario 64. As of October 2023, a 120-star playthrough can be completed in as few as... How many do you want to guess? How many A presses?
14.
3.
3
It's
is
13.
Oh my gosh! I'm so smart. I was trying to think of a number so low that it very obviously couldn't be real. 14 to get 120 stars? Do you just like
13.
lay down and wait for them to come to you?
All right. What this means, the A button makes a Mario jump, the fundamental mechanic of platform. Speedrunners have spent a decade trying to find ways to beat a jumping game without jumping. This involves cloning Goombas to make ladders, exploiting physics glitches, and traveling through parallel universes.
This seems like one of those, what the Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park, where he's like, people seem so concerned if they could, they didn't think, stop to think if they should. This seems like one of those things. It's like, good for these people, I guess, but like, what? Why? What? Like,
I want to know who wakes up is like, you know what? I want to beat a jumping game without jumping.
I actually do watch a lot of like Ocarina of Time speedruns, and I just love when they give themselves challenges where they're like, can I do this with only Child Link? Can I beat the game with only Adult Link, or never using the Ocarina? And I love how they add all of these like unique challenges. I have binge watched way too many of these, so I think it's fun.
It's very
bored.
fun.
It's like, I would love to live a life where I was so bored that not only could I take the time to speedrun a game a million times and beat a world record, but add challenges because you have nothing else to do. I admire them, you know? That's the kind of life we all aspire to live.
And like these
like
are the people that like have no other accomplishments that they'll probably attain in their life, but they're doing this. I'm like, you know what? You're finding meaning to your life. You're finding importance, and in that way, I respect the hell out of you.
Or they're super autistic.
And you know what? They need to find meaning for themselves too.
Yeah.
it makes me think of those people who play and beat Dark Souls using like Guitar Hero controllers and stuff like that. I've seen floating around. Yeah, I've seen floating around clips
and dance
online.
pads.
And dance pads. Yeah, I've seen clips of someone playing Silk Song with like a drum kit. They somehow rigged up
Donkey Konga?
like drums, like a drum set, like and they like to do a hi-hat makes them jump, and then like it makes them run, and it's like, I don't know how they figure that out, but it's like, that's a real, I've seen clips of someone doing that.
Oh man, there's a whole new genre of videos that I need to like binge. Apparently.
I'm happy to open that door for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a want, it's a need. All right, so speedrunning since 2003. So the first documented 120-star run was Spider-Man 88 Mil on December 18th,
That was me.
2004. 2 hours, 57 minutes, 47 seconds. But current records stand, right, I believe, at 0 stars is 6 minutes, 16 seconds. 1 star is at 7 minutes, 10. 16 stars is at 14 minutes, 55. 70 stars is at 46,
why
27.
16 stars is just, that seems kind of arbitrary.
That's the first door, I think, is 16 stars. Right?
Yeah,
16?
it's things like that, yeah.
Okay.
And then 70 stars is like the minimum to beat the game, but yeah.
So say again, how long was 70 stars?
70 was 46.27.
And then 120
And 120 is 1 hour 36.
Dang, that's crazy impressive.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do for the next hour and 36 minutes of my life. I'm gonna...
Well, if it's a speed run, you can really just... There are so many like invisible things that they're doing that you'll never register. You might as well just put on like 2 or 3x speed.
Yeah.
Okay, so Impossible Coins and Mystery Goombas. Penn and Koek discovered a mystery Goomba at the bottom of Bowser in the Sky that appears impossible to kill, making its coin the new, quote-unquote, the new impossible coin. So obviously people have to have it. In 2014, he received media attention for collecting a particular coin that had thought to been uncollectible due to a bug. So he figured out how to get down there and get that coin, I guess. By
it's good to
killing
have
that
goals.
Goomba.
Yeah.
Yeah. Version differences matter. The backwards long jump was patched in the Shindo, the Japanese re-release version, and the DS remake. Most speedrunners use the American N64 carts because they're the only version where the BLJs work. Super Mario 3D All-Stars on Switch is based on the Shindo, so no BLJs. And emulators at higher frame rates make BLJs nearly impossible to execute. So you got to get those American N64 carts. All right. So that's all I had. Eric, do you have anything else?
I had a couple of fun facts, but I think we kind of sprinkled them in just like while we were talking. Let me look through here really quick, see if there's any that are interesting.
Can we talk about the Mario face that you get to play with? Because that's
stretchy,
such a silly little thing that you can do.
Just for the heck of it, yeah. And it has since evolved into like The Last of Us, playing with faces and stuff. Like I feel like that's gotta exist because of this, right?
Obviously. Where else would they have figured out how to do that? Or
no, where else would they have been inspired to do it? Yeah.
Listen, The Last of Us, Cordyceps, Mario stretchy face, mushrooms, it all like it's the same game basically. It's a shot for shot remake.
Direct through line.
Is Italian for Joel.
Oh.
That's my fun fact that I did research on.
And there's a lot of mushrooms, so he is Breaking Bad. Full circle.
Isn't
everything
like cordyceps like Greek for club-headed, and club the mushroom looks like the club from the cards from like a deck of cards, so it's all connected. I could be one of those numerologists.
That makes sense to me. There's perfect logic. I see no flaw in that.
Gosh. All right.
Did you have anything, Eric?
I had a couple. I don't know if it's like a super interesting way to end things, but fun fact. Let's see here. Fun fact: Mario 64 is actually a 32-bit game. The Nintendo 64 is a console that is capable of 64-bit output. But in order to save data space and to make the game run smoother, Mario 64 is not a 64-bit game. It's a 32-bit game. So, fun fact.
Should have been Mario 32.
Should have been Mario 32 if it was being honest. The sound effect for Boo's laughter is just Bowser's laugh, pitched up and sped up.
I knew that.
So, fun fact about that. The game was originally going to feature cooperative play, but the idea wasn't fully implemented. But if you plug in a second controller into the controller port 2, player 2 can control the camera. So little bits of leftovers are there. Let's see here. Ranked first in Next Generation Magazine's top 100 games of all time in September 1996. Under this section, when they were asked what the most memorable moment of the game was, they wrote all of it. We're serious. And that was the whole thing for like why they ranked it where they ranked it. The total polygon count for Mario's character model alone equals more than the entire outside of Princess Peach's castle. So that's a fun little... He's got more polygons than the entire outside of... Because Princess Peach's castle doesn't have a whole back wall. So that's at least one thing. This was Charles Martinet's first appearance as Mario. So Charles Martinet is the voice actor for Mario until a couple years ago he retired from that role. But so this was Charles
forcibly retired him. But
yeah, I was trying to be polite about it. They forcibly retired him because he's too famous and probably too expensive. So Charles Martinet, this was his first appearance as Mario on a Nintendo console. He played Mario for the very first time in 1992 in a Mario pinball machine. And then in 1994 in Mario Teaches Typing. And then 1996 in Mario 64. So this is the first time in a Nintendo console. His first proper voice of Mario. Yeah, and I had a couple other ones, but we kind of we sprinkled them in while we were talking about general things. So Mario 64 is just a great time, you guys. We love it, and everybody loves it except for Emerlie.
I'm so sorry. I do love Mario Kart World though.
Well, that's the same
that
thing,
one
so that counts.
very aggressively. It's basically the same thing, yeah.
All right, and here is my unceremonious segue into Breaking Bad.
Stop.
Look at this screen sharing YouTube.
Oh, so you actually had a reason to share this.
All right, play us out, Mario.
So,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So Breaking Bad, I just realized one of my I looked on a ChatGPT. I was like, okay, I needed to find some random excuse to talk about Breaking Bad, and I needed to marry it with Super Mario 64. Go scour the internet for any random excuse to do that.
Seriously.
And it found
Thanks, ChatGPT.
this Super Mario quote unquote mod, but it's really just somebody took this random moment from the
Spoiler
just
warning. I just want to make sure we don't accidentally.
no,
spoil
it's not a spoiler if you have no
Okay.
context for what
Okay,
it's
good.
referencing.
Also, you should have seen Breaking Bad by now. If you haven't, that's on you.
But spoilers moving forward. Okay, so just like end the episode, go do something else with your life. So I was watching. My new favorite moment of Breaking Bad is at the end of, like, I'm in season 2, and Walter just realizes, or he finds out that he's in remission, and it's at the end of the episode where he cooks for 4 days straight. Well, 2 days, and then he has to like jumpstart the van. It's a fantastic episode. It was already a fantastic episode, but I realize it's now my favorite episode of the whole series up until that moment, because at the end of it, he gets angry that he's in remission and he just smashes a paper towel dispenser until his knuckles are bloodied. And I realized I had never considered why. And have you ever considered why he does that?
It's been way too long.
I mean, he was burning his life down under the assumption that he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like, oh, well, I'm going to have to live with these consequences that I've been incurring on myself.
Yeah. And that is one way to interpret it, and they don't explicitly say why, so it's fair to take that assumption away. But in my head, I was trying to do all this calculus of like, what is said throughout that episode to force you to take a conclusion as to why he does what he does. And what does this episode do? So the inciting incident of the entire show is he learns he has cancer, and he has to cook meth to raise money to solve this problem. And this episode, 4 days out, he gets almost exactly the amount of money he tells Jesse he needs. $600,000 is the amount that he'll be able to get from selling all of that meth. And he finds out he won't have cancer. Basically, he's in remission. He solves the two things that started this entire mess. And during this episode, while they've run out of battery in the van, Jesse says, hey, you're kind of a good person because you're doing this all for your family. And so he and us, the audience, we actually believe that because he believes it. We think he's doing it for his family because he's a moral person. He believes he's a moral person. And an episode or two before that, he has confronted Gretchen, and he finally reveals that they have stolen his company from them, and they've rationalized why they've done it, and he's mad about it. And he tells them to go F themselves, or he tells that to Gretchen. So at this moment, he finds out he's in remission, and there's an invisible conversation that happens in his head where his excuse for why he's cooking is suddenly taken away from him. He no longer needs money. He no longer is doing it for cancer, and he no longer needs the money. And he realizes he still wants to cook. And he gets mad about that because he realizes he's doing it because he has the void of the empire that Gretchen and Elliot took from him. And he gets mad at them, and he gets mad at the life he never had. And he realizes at that moment he's doing it for himself. And he's mad at the life so at that moment he's just infuriated that he's not a moral person and that they forced him into this. And all of this, he never knew he was doing it for himself until this very moment. And he just starts smashing that paper towel dispenser because he just learned something about himself he didn't know until cancer and money was solved for him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I just had to tell somebody about it because I just thought that was absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, you're making me want to watch it again.
It's a good place for it. We started the episode with Breaking Bad. We ended it with Breaking Bad, and there's a bunch of Mario in the middle.
We didn't even realize that Shan had a reason or a purpose, but thanks for coming prepared.
You're welcome. I love that show. And to just like never tell you that, they don't tell you that until the end of the show. That's like the last thing you find out because he tells Skylar. But that's the moment he learns it. And then he continues rationalizing it for like 3.5 more seasons.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a bad dude.
He's a bad dude.
Makes for some
good
TV.
That's when he found out. Oh, gosh. That's why I had to talk about it. It had nothing to do with Mario.
Yeah, Shan just had to get it off his chest.
But I like that we've been talking about like narrative stories because it's like I didn't have the competency to be able to understand what's going on inside of people's head and to understand writers' intentions until we started developing these skills by doing this. So anyway. All right. Is that going to do it?
I got nothing else.
Sure, why not?
All right. Please like, comment, subscribe. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. Listen to Eric's Indie Corners on Monday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Is it Monday?
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Sure.
Outro. Bleepy doof, bleepity, bloopity blow.